everybody. Welcome.
To the Zoom In on Science and the Aviation Aerospace panel. My name is Siasa Saiba and I'm from Midland, Michigan. It's my pleasure to host today's STEM professional panel. In a few minutes, we'll hear from a few panelists who make aviation and taking flight a way of life. As each panelist presents, please post your question in the chat box. Thank you for joining us, Chris, Jacob, Steve, Sarah, Oren, Bill, and Heidi. We are excited to hear more about who you are, what stories you're willing to share about your work, and any advice that you have for our Chief Science Officers as young leaders and advocates in science, technology, engineering, and math. Chris, can you get us started by sharing a little bit more about yourself as a drone pilot?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Fun facts about me, which is the second one here. I'm actually 6'8", so I won't stand up, or else all you'll see is probably my kneecap. But I was born and I grew up in Paris, France. I also played college basketball and professional basketball. I attended Montana State University. And I have 4 beautiful kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. And my specialty with drone is purely cinematography. So documentaries, videos, movies, that's how I use that technology. And so I'll be excited to share more about how I use that technology to actually capture content. Drone technology is only a small part of what I do. I do cinematography as a whole, so I have all kind of other gear, and drone is just part of my toolkit and what I use every day. I'm also a drone instructor and have all kind of workshop and training for drone pilots. And I'm also the president of the AZ Drone Fest, which is the first Arizona Drone Film Festival. And that's happening in October. And we have films from 13 different countries that have entered the festival. So I would encourage you to also look at azdronefest.com because we'll have some amazing film to watch. And this year, obviously, will be all online. And we would love for you guys to attend. We'll have 3 days of workshop training. And then at the end of the 3 days, we'll watch all the films and give the awards for some of the best films out there. So, but any questions, you guys can join me in the chat room. I would love to answer some of those. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Chris. My name is CSO Vivek Raj from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm very happy to meet you. Welcome to the call and the Green Drone Arizona team. Jacob and Justin. Jacob is a patrol pilot too. We are excited to hear more about Green Drone AZ GIS and any advice you have for our Chief Science Officers as a young leaders and advocates in science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah, so my name is Jacob Draper. Again, we are part of the Green Drone Arizona program. So the program is actually funded by the Boeing Corporation, and we're focusing on engaging with youth who are interested in studying STEM content and also pursuing STEM careers. And so what we're doing is we're trying to take geographic information systems and drone technology and show the youth how you can use advanced technology in a sort of primitive field such as ecology or restoration work. And Justin Ettinger is on as well. I don't know if he wants to say anything about the geographic information side. Justin, you're muted.
You'd think we would have learned that by now. But no, just saying thank you guys for having us join. We're happy to be here. And like Jake said, you know, Green Drone AZ is what we're doing is implementing drone monitoring into a riparian restoration project that we have going on in the Tono National Forest, and just showing how technologies like GIS, geographic information systems, and drone technology can be used in natural resource management. So we're super excited to be here.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Nemitz with Northrop Grumman. Currently live here in Gilbert, Arizona, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of a suburb outside of Phoenix. Originally born in Manchester, New Hampshire. Married to my wife of 27 years. I've got 2 wonderful kids, Joseph, who's 17, and Ava, who's 14, who we adopted about 12 years ago. Been a blessing in our lives. Not only do I work in the aerospace industry, but I'm also a musician. I play piano, play guitar, sing a little bit. Been with Northrop Grumman for about 17 years now. It's not where my career started, but it's where I started my career in space. What we do is what is referred to as an end-to-end space mission solutions provider, meaning that we do everything that is necessary to both design, analyze, manufacture, launch satellites, in addition to all of the infrastructure that's needed to operate and to manage all aspects of mission operations for on-orbit satellites. Once you put a satellite in orbit, it doesn't just stay there. There's a lot of work that goes into how do you fly its satellite? How do you collect the information that either the troops on the ground or our NASA customers are looking for us to collect? So a lot of really great things in our portfolio. Wish I could share them all with you right now, but some of our major efforts were very, very big pioneers in the realm of what we call human space flight. We're the first company who's ever done successfully satellite servicing, meaning that launching a satellite to rendezvous with another satellite in order to provide specific servicing of that failing asset. We're also very heavily involved in some of the things that are next generation human space flight, which involves the creation of something very similar to what you probably know as the space station. It's actually referred to now as the cislunar gateway. It's a space station-like structure that will orbit the moon, and it's different than just hosting astronauts and some of the other things that they do there, but it's actually going to be a platform by which we build infrastructure to get us, and I think 2024 is the goal that NASA has to put man on Mars. So that's just a small tidbit of what we do. Really looking forward to the breakout room and being able to answer any of your questions you might have. So that's all I have. Thank you. Sorry I don't have any pictures. I'm about two hours into this presentation trying to get all this stuff pulled together. So I've got other pictures in the breakout room, but you get to see some of the products that we build.
So much, Steve. It's inspiring to hear about your career journey. My name is Sia Sohaley from Hood River, Oregon, and I'm excited to announce our next panelist, Miss Sarah Demery, the Assistant Aviation Director at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Please introduce yourself to our participants.
Well, thanks so much, Haley. Thanks so much, everyone, for having me. I'm really excited to have a great conversation over the next hour. I'm excited to be here and answer your questions. I mentioned I'm Sarah Demery, Assistant Aviation Director for the City of Phoenix Aviation Department. We run actually 3 airports here in the Phoenix area, most notably Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, which I'll focus much of my presentation on today. But we also operate and oversee the operations at Phoenix Goodyear Airports and Deer Valley Airports here in the Valley. So very briefly about me, I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and at a very young age, had a very big interest in all things aerospace, anything space, aerospace engineering, aviation, airplanes, you name it. I would beg my parents to go out to the airport on the weekends and any spare time to look at airplanes, to watch airplanes, to learn more about them. And that led me to my first job at a small general aviation airport in the Minneapolis Metro. And then that led me to pursue business BBA in aviation management and a master's in aviation from the University of North Dakota. From there, I started an internship. I was actually 3 credits short. Some of you might relate to that. I was 3 credits short and I needed to do an internship to make up the credits. And in my area, the only internship that paid at the time, which was unheard of even then, was at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. So I thought, well, I'll give it a try. And there were 8 different internship opportunities. And the internship opportunity I interviewed for and I got was in airside operations, which was at the time one of the coolest internship opportunities, because I got to be out on airside, which was with the runways, taxiways, out doing inspections out on the airfield. And in Minnesota in the summertime, that's where you want to be. From there, I fell in love. I found my niche, and I knew that airport operations was what I wanted to pursue. And that position led me to a full-time position at Minneapolis-St. Paul. So I got my start at airport operations in Minneapolis-St. Paul. And I've worked operations roles in various positions in Minneapolis, Omaha, Seattle, Tacoma International Airport, Boise, in Boise, Idaho, And then 3 years ago, my family and I moved here to Phoenix, and I was very lucky to join the City of Phoenix Aviation team. So all in progressively responsible positions, all mostly in airport operations, which means we kind of run the airport. We're responsible for everything kind of behind the scenes. A little bit about me, briefly. I'm also a commercial pilot with instrument and multi-engine ratings. I wanted to know how to fly. I wanted to have that as a background. It's still very much a passion of mine, but I wanted to have that as a hobby and not necessarily do that as a career because I fell in love with airports. And then in the airport world, there's an accreditation program through the American Association of Airports Executives. And so I'm accredited with them, and I'm also an airport security coordinator and a certified operations employee. There's just accreditations that we have in the airport world. So I'm excited to talk more about it. There's a lot to do. Airports operate much like a city within a city. And in Phoenix, there's a lot to talk about. So I'm excited about that and welcome you to join me in the conversation in the breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mori, for sharing about your journey. Hello, everyone. My name is Siesa Prisha from Chandler, Arizona, and I'm really excited to meet with all of you. Our next guest is Oren, an air traffic controller.
Thank you. It's good to be here with you. Thanks for having me. I got started in my career in junior college. That's where I got my pilot's license. Wanted to be a pilot, but when I enlisted in the Army to go, you had to be a four-year college person to be a pilot or fly helicopters, and I didn't want to fly helicopters at the time. So I became an air traffic controller in the military. When I got out of the military, I went to work for the FAA and spent the next 37 years working for the FAA. I started out at Concord Buchanan Field in a VFR tower. I went to Southern California, Long Beach Approach, to Long Beach Tracon. In 1975, we merged with El Toro. Approach became Coast Approach. In 1980, I came back to Concord as a supervisor. In 1984, I went to San Jose as a supervisor and eventually became the manager there. Then I got tired of managing after 10 years, so I went to Oakland International, which is on the screen now, which is a unique airport. It has two fields. Salt Lake City has two also, but on the right of the picture is the north field, on the left of the picture is the south field. At that time, we had a control tower for each airport. Now it's been all combined into one. I spent 13 years at Oakland. I look forward to going to work every day. The picture on the right is the original control tower on Hangar 5, way back in the day. Oakland became an airport in 1927, September. Charles Lindbergh dedicated the airport. The picture on the left is the military tower when the military took over the field during World War II, and it was attached to the original tower. The next picture is the new tower under construction. That's the steel framework with the interior stairwell. That tower is 160 feet high. And the tower in the front is the old Northfield Tower, which has since been demolished. The next picture is the Southfield Tower and the terminal building at the Oakland. And that tower, too, has been removed. That's the interior of the control tower. We use a lot of computer screens these days. That's a lot different than what it was back in the paper strip and pushing around the tower cab. The next picture. That's the inside of the Air Traffic Control Center. There's one in Oakland, in Fremont, California. It's the Oakland Air Traffic Control Center. They cover flights all the way out to Hawaii. And you sit in that room all day long with no windows. I like the tower better. I can look outside and see airplanes. They're not all little green targets on the radar screen. And the next picture, that's the new tower finished at Oakland. And it's a whole different perspective. One of the things about air traffic control and aviation, it's always changing. Whatever the industry does, it usually affects us controllers, and we have to adapt. So you need to be very flexible, think in 3 dimensions, have a picture in your head of what's going on, because if the radar quits, you still got to separate the airplanes. Thanks again for having me. That's a picture of the ramp from the new tower. So you can see the old tower, the old south tower there where the gates for the airline are, but you can't see the aircraft from the new tower. All you can see is tails, so you got to be real careful moving airplanes around in that area. In the foreground is the FedEx ramp where they do a lot of the cargo, and then there's 2 UPS aircraft across the taxiway.
Thank you, Oren. Oh. Yeah, thank you, Oren. Our final panelists are Heidi and Bill Huffman, commercial airline pilots. Would you guys like to share?
I am Heidi Huffman, and my husband Bill is also a pilot. We're going to be sharing this time. I've been raised in the Chicago area in a suburb of Chicago, and we left there when I was about 15. I was not a happy camper leaving between my freshman and sophomore year, my friends, until I discovered the Southern California beaches of San Diego, and then I was a happy camper. My dad actually was a pilot for American Airlines, and he was based in O'Hare, and he'd go on layovers in the winter time to San Diego and Phoenix, and thought, what am I doing here shoveling snow? Oops, let's move to San Diego. So we did. And that was about the time in high school where I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for a living? And I started looking closely at my dad's job, and after my senior year, I got my private pilot's license at a nearby airport here in San Diego. And then I went off to West Lafayette, Indiana, to Purdue University. I majored in aviation technology because I knew I wanted to be a pilot. You don't have to do that, but my dad recommended that, and I'm very glad I did. I got all of my ratings and everything there at Purdue. And then graduated with a degree, Bachelor of Science in Aviation Technology. And after that, I worked for a little company out of Texas, ferrying little Cessnas all over the country, delivering them and picking them up, which is a lot of fun to see the country, all these little airports, meeting a lot of people. Then I got enough flight time to get on with a company that flew twin engines. That's very valuable on the resume, to fly a twin-engine airplane. So I did that for 2 years, flying bank checks, which you don't do that anymore. Everything's electronic now, but I'd fly bank checks and people on, sightseeing tours, the Grand Canyon or nearby Catalina Island. And then I got enough flight experience there to get on with American Eagle up there in the upper right. And that is actually where Bill and I met in training for American Eagle. And I flew that, the jet, that's called the Jetstream. And then the Saab, and got enough experience there that I got on with TWA Airlines out of JFK. And I was a flight engineer in the breakout room. I can tell you more what that is. Actually, it's obsolete. The airplanes don't even have a flight engineer anymore. Oh, I'm at 2.5 minutes. Okay. Wow, time flies. Okay. Went from TWA to Northwest Airlines and then to Delta. So I'll save the rest of the slides for the breakout room. Okay, Bill, you're up.
I hope this is working. I hope you hear me. So my name is Bill Huffman, and I was a commercial pilot for 25 years, but the start was I grew up on the island of Oahu, Honolulu, Hawaii. Left there at the age of 19, went to school at the University of Wyoming, where I earned a commission in the Air Force as a maintenance officer, and I worked on the aircraft. And in these two pictures here, what you see is me at the age of about 15 on a small aircraft in Honolulu. And then the one below that, I was flying a 767 right back to the same airport 25 years later. Some hobbies, look on the right. My life centers around motorcycles, skiing, and dogs. And this slide here, it's hard to believe, but my entire 30-year career can be summed up in one slide. You have the planes I learned to fly in across the top, the planes I flew to earn time to work my way to the major airlines. That's starting with a little cargo plane that says Ameriflight on it there. I flew the Jetstream, and as Heidi mentioned, that's where we met. My first time flying passengers was on a startup out of Fresno, California, flying the Fokker 28. Finally on to United Airlines. I thought that was it. I thought, I'm not going beyond this. And this was where I'll end my career. No, one more step. Boom, Gulfstream 550. I've been fascinated with it for years. So I became a teacher on it at Flight Safety. And then I had the opportunity to fly it. And so for the last 2 years, I've been flying around this little plane around the globe. That's it.
We're so excited you both could make it today, Heidi and Bill. We know that you both were on call. We appreciate you sharing the glimpse at your work. It's amazing to consider the lives you've transported around the globe over the years. My name is CSO Marissa from Leachfield, Arizona. Thank you all for sharing about your work. This panel has been incredible today. At this time, we will break out into rooms to have additional Q&A sessions with our panelists for 25 minutes.
I just sent everybody a message, 1 minute left to wrap up.
Perfect. So, what'd you think? We'll start with you, Jacob. What'd you think?
I went by really fast.
That's because I shaved off about 10 minutes because I want to make sure we close on time.
Oh, it's really exciting. I like seeing the familiar faces from the summer camp. So it's nice to see Prisha online. I mean, it's always nice to engage with youth, spread the word about our program, and hopefully we'll get some more attendees. I know that you've reached out to everybody as well, so.
Yeah, we're gonna post again. What about you, Chris? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I mean, I love sharing what I do. So, you know, I think, and it's really great to, I think, share that panel with those two guys and to kind of combine what drone can actually do. Because they're the smart one, and I'm just the guy who just have fun with cameras. So it's good to have the backup of smart people.
Well, it's good to have the fun aspect though too, because we want to make sure the students realize that there are opportunities to do a variety of things with the drones. So, you know, we learned a lot this summer, like Jacob was referring to, about the GIS systems and the 7 active students in the summer activities, really helping create an understanding about GIS and how drones play a part.
Well, I guess.
Oh, you're back.
Welcome back. I kicked you out. I kicked you out.
Everybody's back.
And we're back.
Uh-oh, were you saying something really cool in your breakout room?
It totally was.
It's kind of like that big old yank, the big, in the old days, yank you off the stage with that hook. So we just wanted to close up and make sure you have, I know Marissa's ready with the final pieces. So Marissa, I'll turn it back over to you, but thank you all.
Yes, thank you. Welcome back. We're sorry to cut your conversations mid-sentence, if that was so, but panelists, please share how your breakout room went and final words of advice. Chris, would you like to start?
No, thanks for everybody that participated. It was awesome. Again, I think for me, it's all about trying to encourage you guys in the field of drone. There's so many different opportunities, and I think you just got to see a couple different aspects of how the technology is being used, but there's just so much out there. And so I think the overall for me was to continue to encourage you guys to keep trying, even though it may look like it's a difficult field to get into or an expensive field to get into. Just don't let go of that passion and keep going for it.
Exactly. So many opportunities. Mr. Maury, what about you?
Exactly what I was really wrapping things up with by saying, so the airport is a dynamic place to work. And while I got my start because of my background in as a pilot on the airfield, there are so many jobs and so many different diverse opportunities at the airport, whether it's in finance or police or fire or at our airport museum. Or in operations, running the actual airport, or in management. So I guess my advice would be, keep your opportunities open, and you know, just follow your passion, and you never know where it's going to be. You will lead you to. The other thing that somebody recently actually asked me that, and if I were to go back and talk to my 18-year-old self, what I would say, and I would also say as a pilot, altitude, altitude, altitude. There's a story there. I'll leave it at that, but I'll leave it at that.
We'll have to have you come back another time to tell us about that story. How about Heidi and Bill?
I agree with what was just said, particularly in follow your passion. What I would say to my young self, though, is relax, try to enjoy the moment. I was so focused on becoming that United Airlines pilot that I had a lot of stops along the way to get there. And I was just always pressuring myself to move on to that next step. Take a moment, enjoy it. If you're having fun with it, don't move on too quick. Just enjoy the ride. That's all.
That's awesome. I know I can take that personally. CSOs are very motivated, and I think we're constantly making it happen, but we definitely need to live in the moment more. Steve?
Sure. No, I thought the breakout was great. I think we probably all could have used a little bit more time, but I think that's predominantly because I'm long-winded. So, but all that said, it's, you know, space is a pretty amazing industry to be involved in. It's one of those things that you know, I don't think everybody gets to do. It's a lot like you see in the movies where you got all these people sitting in a big room looking at these monitors as you're trying to get contact with one of these space assets. And the only thing is that satellites don't have flashing lights and they don't have make beeping sounds because that doesn't do anything. So, I really appreciate what Bill had to say there, which is, you know, there's part of, you know, my dad, when I was younger, really was one of kind of my mentors that taught me how to just enjoy the grind at a very young age, you know, and just really instilling the work ethic in me. And so, I along with Bill, maybe mine's just a little bit different. You know, I've in my career, I've never kind of been pursuing money. It was never the goal. I always enjoyed the work that I was doing, and I would find other opportunities, not for the purpose of earning more money. I mean, it would come, but that can't be your motivation. You got to love what you're doing, and something that's going to get you out of bed every day to, you know, to spend an appreciable amount of your time doing. And so that's got to be there. But I think also too is you got to have some interests that are outside of work that you always keep with you. And you know, don't live in the office. You know, it's hard. I'm such a hypocrite when I say that. But you know, I really, it's just, you know, work hard while you're there, and then don't take it home with you, and then enjoy life. You know, so.
Thank you. Work hard, play hard, right? Heidi, do you have any final words?
You know, I did what Bill did, and I was just go to get to this career. And he has a good point. Stop and smell the flowers along the way. And to the gals out there, you know, there's nothing we can't do, right, other than maybe play professional football. So, and you don't want to do that anyway because you'll hurt your knees and other things. But yeah, there's nothing we can't do, right? So just shoot for the moon or Mars, as Steve was mentioning.
That's awesome. Girl power, right? Jacob, do you have any final words?
Everybody's pretty much summed it up pretty well. I do really like what Steve said about making sure that you have some interests outside of work. And I received a piece of advice when I thought I was going to be a game warden for Arizona Game and Fish. And he said, if you love hunting and fishing so much, and that's a huge passion, be careful about making it a career, because you're going to be checking people and you're going to be monitoring people your whole career, and you're not going to have time to go enjoy those hobbies that you used to have for yourself down the road. And it's kind of stuck with me, to be honest.
Kind of like what Steve was saying, you know, work hard, but keep the work at work. Justin, do you have any advice?
And I think you know, you guys have heard a little bit of the same theme from everybody, and that's to really go after something that you're passionate. We spend the majority of our lives working, so you might as well really enjoy what you're doing. I probably took a little bit of a slower route than Bill did. I didn't even start college till I was 26, but I enjoyed a lot of time until that, and continued enjoying it every day. And really, I think, you know, if you can find that job that you're passionate about, it's going to be easy to get up and go to work every day. And what excites me about you guys as CSO students is that you are so driven and interested in the fields that you're studying, you know, at such a young age. And I can't wait to see what you guys become. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you. And then for our final words, Oren?
Pretty much been said, but I've always loved airplanes and aviation, and the pilot road didn't work for me, so I got into air traffic. I look forward to going to work every day because it was always different. Aviation is still my passion. An airplane can't go over the top of my house without me looking up and seeing what it is and who it is, and drive by an airport, and I still get excited. I was fortunate enough to work at two of the major airports in the San Francisco Bay Area, San Jose and Oakland. I never went to San Francisco. I went over there and checked it out, but that to me was a whole different ballgame. We can cover that another time if you'd like. But like they say, find your passion, find something outside of your work that keeps you occupied and makes you feel healthy and well, and look forward to going to work every day. You got to be happy in your work. If you're not, it's just not worth doing.
It's amazing that you're still so passionate about your job. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We appreciate the time you took out of your day, and we celebrate you as STEM professionals in our CSO Global Network. For the CSOs on the call, let's close with everyone saying the CSO motto. All right, CSOs, don't just hope it happens.
Make
it
happen.
Awesome. Thank you again. And then we're going to do the the pilot call before we close out.
Come on, give us your best pilot announcement that we're closing the call, or let your dreams take flight. We need a a message.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the remainder of your life. Enjoy.
That's awesome. I appreciate all of you so much. And Heidi, did you want to go too? Oh, come on.
You could expect some turbulence, but hopefully smooth sailing.
Very good.
Buckle up.
You left this out. Have a great journey.
There you go.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Who's the flight attendant and what is our meal for the day?
Yeah. In the good old days when you got a meal.
That's right. That's right. Well, again, to all of the CSOs on the call, thank you for joining. To all of our guests that joined us, and then to all of our panelists, I am so impressed at what we were able to pull together and really highlight National Aviation Day, August 19th, and then really celebrate our theme this month was Let Your Dreams Take Flight, and meeting all of you was truly incredible. We hope sometime in the future we'll be able to meet in person, but virtually. We were able to pull countries together. You were able to meet our students from all over the world. And, you know, we really do appreciate you and being part of our network. So a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy your week.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.